dial-up. Done. Redirecting to YouTube on the Virtual Pipe Club, and just okay, well, so it says that we're live on YouTube, in which case I'm going to say to all the YouTube people, happy Saturday, September 19th. We are about to commence the meeting of the Virtual Pipe Club. And if you are watching over there on YouTube, welcome. And you can join in here on YouTube, obviously. And if you have comments and questions and want to join in the conversation, just type it in there on the YouTube chat. I will make sure that we add it into the conversation with everybody else. But mostly, I'm David Dorian Ross, founder of the Virtual Pipe Club. Absolutely, that's not even an official thing. That's not even a thing, right? It's just, I'm here to sort of keep the conversation rolling. But it's going to be everybody else who's on today. And that's all I know about there. Now I'm going to undo the spotlight. Happen. And for those of you who are looking at your laptop screens or whatever, and you still see my my mug on there, you can get rid of me now by going up to your gallery view, click on gallery view for a second, and it'll make it go away. Trying to hit cancel that. There we go. All right. Phew. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Dimitri, Happy New Year.
Me too.
I missed a good meeting last week.
Yeah. Chris was amazing. And I knew that you guys were going to hang out a little bit longer. I had no idea. Another 3 hours. Good.
Mama.
So that was awesome. And Oliver, thank you for taking the helm and keeping that going. You guys appreciate how much work Oliver, there's a bunch of people who put in a bunch of work on this, way more than I do. I do virtually nothing. But Oliver's been doing a lot of the moderating and making sure that we get all the great posts up there, the trading post, some of the other features that have gone on there really helped get the group growing. Oliver, man.
Thank you.
Really.
Yeah. By the way, I love the idea of getting the pipe for the virtual club. I think it's
that's the
wonderful.
thing. Oliver had a long conversation with Chris.
I agree.
Got that set up. That's going to happen. So yeah, keep your eyes posted in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Probably be there to make an order. Way more than any of us kind of expected in terms of volume. And I think there's like over 50 people who said, yes, I want to.
I was one of them. Yeah. And the price was very good too. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm amazed at that actually, David.
Yeah, by the way, this is my new acquisition. That's addition to my Nat Sherman pipe collection, made in England. It says Nat Sherman 5th Avenue, made in London, England. Sterling silver band with a Nat Sherman clock on it. And I'm going to smoke this. Seattle's Pipe Club, Mississippi River Special Selection. And I have my
at the store, but when they closed.
No. This pipe is probably from 1980s, and I have my new toy. You see this lighter? It works like this, and it works like this.
Wow.
That looks awesome.
Cool.
Look at this.
Explain what a lighter that is.
Technology.
Yeah, it's a DSIM lighter. It's a startup company. I backed them up, so I'm one of the first who got it for amazing price. It's like about $35, including this pouch. Yeah. No, I'm sure retail price will be higher, but still, it will be something very reasonable.
Are they still in beta or are they ready to sell?
No, I don't think they go in retail yet. This is just for those who back them up. So I'm one of the first who got it.
So they're on Kickstarter or something?
Yes.
Could you post their Kickstarter link on the Virtual Pipe Club page?
No, the Kickstarter already done, so they already shipped the first one. Yeah. I just, when I read the description, I saw the pictures, I like the idea, so I decided I'll try it. There is nothing to lose, and I like it.
Nice. Well, don't worry about us, Dimitri. We'll be here with our old-fashioned, two sticks rubbing together. And
I use one of these Corona type.
2 sticks. I'm still using flint and steel.
I know, right? Jürgen, is that a Caribe?
That is a pearl. It is not a Corona, but it's also made in Japan.
Ah.
You get it here. By the way, I'm from Germany, and I joined your club last Sunday, and I watched several weeks the meetings on YouTube. So now I'm there, and so I had the chance to train my English. So excuse me if I make mistakes. But this is my lighter. I have it a few weeks. I had a bigger one, but that fall apart. I had to replace it. And it's a nice Corona style pipe lighter.
That's beautiful. That's by the way, your English is better than 95% of everybody else here. So
Agreed.
good.
Welcome to the club and greetings to Germany. And by the way, you are not alone with the bad English, so I'm in.
Yes.
At least you're not alone, because another German guy from Munich. So I'm a little bit in the dark here. So sitting outside with the candles, it might look a bit scary.
It's right in with the YouTubes I've been making lately. They're all mystery kind of YouTube. Well, did you get a haircut there, buddy?
No, I just took my hat off. Yeah, I did last week. No, not since last week.
Very nice. Well, I have one thing that I wanted to sort of throw out at the beginning of the meeting, just for shits and giggles, just for fun. We are sitting at, the last time I checked here, 994 members in the Virtual Pipe Club on the YouTube page. And I thought, if any of you know friends, you've been saying you should come and hang out with us on a Saturday, you could invite them today. And maybe we could push this over 1,000 by the end of the meeting today.
Oh, we could do that. No problem.
That'd be fun. But quality over quantity. So it's like, we're not in a rush to grow the group or anything like this. But if you've got somebody who's a good guy or good gal, either one. I don't want to sound too sexist here any more than I am. But invite them to join us today. Let's see if we can do that. That'd be fun.
Okay, let me find my invite button. It'll be around here somewhere.
Very, very cool. We don't have a speaker today. Just as a reminder, next week our speaker is Brian Levine again, who will be coming to talk to us about Disney pipes and Disney collecting and all that kind of stuff. But today, what I thought, because it's the last meeting of the summer.
Because it's hot outside?
Right? Tuesday is the start of fall. Tuesday is the first day of autumn. So today is the last meeting of the summer.
Who's sitting by the river? That river looks beautiful.
or not.
That's Terry's fake river.
That looks very nice.
Actually, I switched to my dog because while I'm getting ready to eat breakfast, and I didn't want to have you guys watching me.
Cute doggy.
He passed in 2015, but he was my boy.
Beautiful.
So just as a jumping off point, and we can go anywhere we want to today, is maybe to talk about if you have been smoking certain types or certain blends because of the summer season, like hot weather tobacco. Now that there's a little bit of something in the air going to shift the season, if you're planning on, like, I'll give you an example. I've got all these beautiful Savinellis and big author pipes that I love, but I haven't smoked them all summer. And I've just been waiting for the weather to change, break out the beefy bowls and some, you know, deeper orientals and whatever for the fall. And starting next week, I'm going to start to make the shift. Do you guys do anything like that? Remember, I know nothing relatively about pipes, so I'm just making it up as I go along. But I'd be curious about.
I switched my Englishes more in the cooler weather.
So tell me about that. Like, how long have you been doing that?
I don't know. Just lately, really. I never really had any preference before, but now when it seems to get cooler, I switched to my Pirate Cake. I smoke a lot of that. But my main smoke still is Autumn Evening by Cornell and Deal. I smoke that. I buy that by the pound. In fact, I just ran out today, so I'm smoking Pirate Cake right now. It's like 57 degrees here this morning.
Yeah, also during the summer, I usually smoke more Virginias, something mild, and when it gets colder, more English. It does mean I wouldn't smoke Virginia in winter or English in summer, it's just proportions.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, David, because, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm looking probably from April until just recently. I'm all Virginias and I'm all Clays and some Cobbs, and I'm looking at I got a Chris Morgan Bones. I'm looking at a Ashton Briar. I'm looking at the Briar piece that Janos just sent me. And you said it, you know, there's a little certain something in the air. It's still summer. It was warm yesterday, but now I'm breaking out the. I've got some McBarons in front of me. I'm working on a little concoction here, but yeah, as soon as the season changes, you know, it's pretty much from here on out, I'm going to be Briars for the rest of the winter, fall.
Do you guys have winters in California?
It's all relative, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember one time I went to visit a friend of mine from Oregon, from college. He moved to Lake Tahoe. It was like first week of August, and it was snowing like badly, and you have to have those tires. So I know in that part of California, yes, it switches.
It's weird because we have so many microclimates. We've got, you know, 3 different, you know, general regions, but the microclimates, even in the Bay Area, I mean, you can just drive a few miles and it changes pretty quickly.
I used to live on the Central Coast here in California, and where I lived, you could literally drive up the coast, maybe 3 miles from Ventura, and you would hit this microclimate that was perfect for growing bananas. They had this giant banana plantation on the side of the hill there. And like nowhere else in the continental US did you have the perfect climate for growing bananas. And he grew like 10 different varieties there. So, and then the micro zone would end like within a mile and it would become another temperate climate. It was bizarre. That's California.
Yeah, perfect example. You know, I back on Labor Day, which was the 7th, I drove up to Ben Lomond to help a friend out. They had all kinds of smoke damage and ash all over the house, but I drove up to visit my wife used to have a mail route in back of there, the place that burned. And driving up the western side of a very steep pass called Alba Road. It was all redwoods on either side of the road, all redwood trees, huge redwood trees. The forest floor burned spotlessly clean. It was like Mother Nature came in with a big vacuum cleaner and just sucked everything off of the ground. And it looked totally natural. That's what a healthy forest looks like. But none of the redwoods burned. You get to the top of Alba at the very top, and then you go over Empire Grade, go down Empire. That's all high chaparral. There's no redwoods. It's all pine trees and scrubby oaks and dry grasses, and all of that exploded and burned so intensely. You know, just a mile away from there, the redwood forest, that fire on the floor burned slowly. It didn't burn intensely hot. It burned. But where you had the chaparral, those homes, I drove by 3 homes that we used to deliver to. Great big 2-story house at 1497 Pine Flat. There were 3 cars in the driveway. There was nothing left. The cars, not only the entire car had melted. Usually you see puddles of aluminum from where the wheels melt, you know, the rims. The entire car melted down to the chassis, all 3 of them. So it just burned crazy intense. So just, you know, microclimates, there you go.
Well, David, you know, being from Oregon, on the coast is always about 50, 60, never change, perfect climate. You go like an hour east and it's all like snow for many, many months. And then you keep driving east towards Idaho and it's like, who put this desert here? You can give it, it's like, I was kind of disappointed thinking, man, Oregon is beautiful and green and everything. And then you put this desert, give it to Idaho, cut it right here.
You know, we went, I went to my nephew's wedding in McKenzie, Oregon, about, I don't know, an hour east of Springfield. That was a year ago in June. It was right along the McKenzie River. Beautiful, beautiful country. It was hotter than 7 hells when we went there, though. It was like really freaking hot. Well, I was looking at the fire maps for Oregon, and that place burned where we were, all along the river. And I'm thinking about all those homes. I don't know how many homes were burned, but it was definitely right smack dab in the middle of one of those big fires. And the smoke up there is just crazy. You know, it's like off the charts for, you know, air quality. Like it doesn't even go that high. Like they go to 500, and I think they clocked in at like 803 in Portland.
It was, with all the fire, it was kind of like what you're saying, Todd, about 25 miles, 30 miles away from Springfield or Eugene, where the University of Oregon is. And they saw me, a friend of mine sent me a picture of the Awesome Stadium, which is the football stadium, and it was all orange on top. Like you can see within 3 days, he sent me pictures of blue to orange, different like tones.
You know, it's there are huge regions with like millions of people up there who, like, you shouldn't be wearing N95 masks. It's like you should be evacuated. It's like you shouldn't even be in that area. It's like, you know, Chernobyl. I mean, it's not safe to be breathing that stuff. It's crazy.
Worst weather I've ever been in was in Beijing, and it was about 350. And the day before I arrived there, a guy from the States who was living in Beijing had gone out running, had gone out jogging and died. So it, like, if we're talking about 500 to 800, that's lethal air conditioning.
Well, we just finished 30 consecutive days of Spare the Air days in Santa Clara County. The closest record was in 2018 because of the Camp Fire. That was 14 days. So we had 30 days of Spare the Air days. Yesterday was
driving? Is that what that is?
I'm sorry, David?
Is that like no driving? Is that what that is?
Yeah, no driving, no barbecue, no, yeah, none of that. And, you know, be careful. It's unhealthy. Don't exercise. 8 of those days were the PM 2.5. So that's, so dust, cat dander, pollen, mold. Those are like 10 microns across. The 2.5, that's particulate matter that's 2.5 microns or less. And that's organic material. People always think organic, oh, it must be good, right? Yeah, organic materials like arsenic, lead, mercury. So the nasal hairs, the mucous membranes are boogers that capture the dander and the mold and the stuff that's bigger. The toxic metal stuff, that sails right through. It goes down to the deepest, smallest air sacs in your lungs. And of course, then it winds up in your bloodstream. So we had 8 days of that. So if you got 30 days of unhealthy air and 8 days where it's like potentially carcinogenic air, that's got to, I don't know how much time that takes off of your lifespan. It's got to take some points off the board. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's for millions of people across the area. I think it's an inflection point. This is like Mother Nature's way of bitch slapping us and saying, wake up. I mean, global warming, climate crisis, it's here. You got to do something.
That's,
David,
that's real for sure.
David, a year ago, I was camping in Yosemite Valley. So today I wouldn't even be able to camp there because of the air quality. So think of it that way too.
Yeah, I keep going back to this meme I saw on Facebook with a roll of barbed wire. You know, those of us who have country backgrounds, I mean, you know, that's how we store it in a big roll. And then the caption said, "If 2020 was a hula hoop."
It's a year for the ages. There's no doubt about it. This
is going to be written up in history books for generations to come.
Never been anything like that. And then you have RBG pass, 43 days before an election. It's just
so sad about that. I'm so sad.
It's just like one thing after another, after another, after another.
And if you've had the misfortune of losing a family member to it, that adds another element to the year.
Have somebody
yeah, I had my brother-in-law passed away way before his time. He worked in a medical facility. He was an administrator of a small hospital, and it got exposed there and went in 3 weeks to the hospital, and that's all he lasted. So again, it's just a strange dichotomy of that virus, how it affects some people. It's a walk in the park for them, and others it doesn't. So
it's the rapture, guys. That means that we are not part of the chosen.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, Shep.
Well, that's hey, it's matter of fact, I got my sister-in-law and nephew over today. I'm having to play a little father to my nephew. He's dealing with it fine, but it's just one of those things that, like I say, when men plan, the angels laugh. Well, this is a good example of it.
Well, this is why I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with. I don't know if I've been this sort of oogie out there, but I really consider you guys friends of mine. This is an opportunity, over the past several weeks and over the summertime, get to know you a little bit, get to sort of plumb the depths of your character. Everybody on here is, so pleasant to hang out with, right? All of you guys. And I just, and in a world where we're so far apart from each other, to be able to come together like this, at least to hang together. It's, and all of you gentlemen who are from overseas, from, in Germany, in South Africa, in Finland. I mean, there's all kinds of people I would never would have ever had the opportunity to meet if it hadn't been for this. So I'm really glad that you guys.
And David, I would just really want to echo what you said. And one thing I noticed about the group is that it seems like our attendance is really good. I mean, you see a lot of the same fellows here every single week, and I have a pipe club that meets once a month. And it's a great club, but you know, there's some guys, you know, show up once or twice and never see them again, or even some regulars, you know, they're there for a while and they disappear. And you know, it's just, I think this format just makes it easier for people to be available. Where if you have to get in your car and drive to a pipe club, you know, once it's harder for people. People get caught up, but I'm really noticing the attendance here. There's a lot of consistency, and that's awesome. That's what makes for like a good cohesive group, is this continuity.
Well said.
Here.
I think it's a testament to the character of the people. It's like, you don't want to go hang out with a bunch of guys who are rubbing you the wrong way week after week or whatever. But we all seem to get along pretty well, you know, except for Oliver. You know, I don't know what to do about that guy. We're working on it though. He's in therapy about it, so pretty soon he'll be much more mellow. Dimitri, did they have any kind of ceremony to close the Nat Sherman shop?
Well, Michael Herklatz, vice president, he actually posted it. He had live video when they closed it. So when they actually put the sign on the door that Nat Sherman Townhouse is closed, well, they still, people are still working there well, you understand that after store is closed, they still have to take care of business. So they'll be working like for another like month and a half probably, but the retail store is gone. And well, some retailers still have Nat Sherman cigars. So if you go to like J&R Cigars, or Best Cigar Prices, Cigar International, and so on, you still have a chance to buy Nat Sherman cigars if you like them, if you want them, but they will never be made ever again.
You know what they plan to do with all their inventory? Are they going to chop it out?
Yeah, well, everything in the store is sold out. That's why originally they were planning to close on September 25th, but they sold out everything. That's why they closed earlier. Oh, by the way, a couple of days ago, I actually had chance to meet another great, well, not meet, just hang out with him. I know him for years, Terrence Riley, vice president of Aganor Salif. It's a Nicaraguan cigar company. So he was in New York City. I went to Tobacco Plaza on Long Island, Great Neck. So was hanging out with him. Got some of his cigars. He's also very sad about Nat Sherman. He had good long connections with Nat Sherman. He's actually nephew of Manuel Quesada of Quesada Cigars.
You know, I did a search this morning, Dimitri. I was looking for the New York Times article on Nat Sherman's closing. And much to my surprise, there was no New York Times mention of Nat Sherman closing. The closest I got, there was probably 5 hours ago now, Cigar Aficionado posted something, just basically what you just said. You know, they're out of inventory and they're closed up. I was surprised the New York Times didn't have that.
Yeah, well, lately mainstream media doesn't cover anything tobacco and cigar related. I guess they consider it inappropriate or something, though Nat Sherman wasn't just about cigars or tobacco. For me, it was always about people. I know Sherman family. I've been going to Nat Sherman when it was still family owned. It was owned by one family for over 86 years, 3 generations. I had pleasure of meeting Mr. Sherman, Joel Sherman, son of Nat Sherman, and I know Joel's children, Larry, Bill, and Michelle. Actually, one of my good friends and mentors who actually taught me to be a New York City tour guide, his son and Larry Sherman went to high school together. So it's like small world. And for me, it was always about people. Sherman family, all guys who ever worked at Nat Sherman, they are my friends. And I met a lot of regulars who went to Nat Sherman. So I still keep in touch with many of them. Many of them became my friends. I met many wonderful people there.
Dimitri, Bud just posted a question in the chat about any blends and I guess any cigars from Nat Sherman that you'd recommend. What's your top recommendation? Oops, your mic's off there. Dimitri, your mic's off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So, well, actually, Nat Sherman tobaccos, most Nat Sherman tobaccos are made by Lane Limited. So they'll still be available under different names, made by Lane Limited, Scandinavian Tobacco Group. But any of those limited edition, anything that was ever blended in the store, that's not available. Well, I still can make my limited edition blend 414, which was Nat Sherman limited edition 85th anniversary blend 5 years ago. I still can make that because I still have stash of McClellan 5120 Virginia, which is one of the ingredients.
Awesome. By the way, in case you guys don't all have this website, there's a website called pipestud.com. They often have consignment sales of stuff like, McClellan's, and anytime a tobacco company goes out of business. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those Nat Shermans start to show up there a little bit. It's something to keep your eyes on. And
all the stuff you used to be able to find on eBay.
all the stuff you used to be able to find on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah, David Pipe Stud is on our Texas Pipe Club every other week virtual meeting as well. He's on it every week, every other week. So and I would not be surprised.
On eBay too.
He's a good guy.
He used to be a long football announcer here on our local Austin, Texas Longhorn Network here at the years before before he took up his new hobby, his new business.
What's the chances we can get him on as a speaker sometime?
I bet you could.
Bet we could too. Yeah, he's a good old boy.
He just opened up a new business in Waco. He had a business there and he's expanded it, and he's opened up a storefront. So
in tobacco?
Yes.
My understanding is he kind of had to open up a storefront because the county changed the law.
He did. He got in a little innocent trouble with the local tax authority here. So he had to, but he got it all straightened out.
As they always do in Texas.
We got a question over there from the YouTube group. Dimitri, this might be for you. Nat Sherman's 536, is that under the Lane label now?
No, Nat Sherman 536. I'm not sure who made that one. 536, it's Nat Sherman American English blend. That's not made by Lane Limited, but that one I'm not sure who made that. But I know some retailers still have it available in tins. I actually recently bought a couple of more tins of that because as non-aromatic smoker, it's like the only Nat Sherman tobacco that I smoke on a regular basis.
Not showing up on Turbo Tin. So
Dimitri's muted again.
So David Boshoff, your seasons are going the other direction. You said you're starting to warm up now a little bit.
It's been cold, yeah.
So is it still pretty chilly, or are you starting to feel it's spring?
Well, I think it's dark early, but in the morning it's still chilly, but during the day it's nice. But Friday it's very cold, the whole day.
You've got a bit of catching up to do as far as getting your seasonal smokes. For those of you who don't know, South Africa had zero tobacco for like, what, 2 years? Just seemed like it. So they finally got opened up so that they could. Now, you still don't, can you only buy it in brick and mortars, or can you buy it online now?
There are people you can buy the top, but because they didn't let bring it on, most of the shop don't have what people want. They have to take them. They've got smoke. Other tobaccos are available.
So just to let you guys know, I've been paying attention to all the suggestions that you have for speakers that are coming in there, and we're starting to work on them, get some more of those excellent suggestions back in. I'm also curious about, I'm going to start inviting some of the speakers that we've had already to come back and visit us again. Any top requests or
Per Georg Jensen, and that conversation I enjoyed the
Per
most.
Jensen. Yeah.
He's such a nice guy. I have sometimes a little bit conversation via Facebook when I have some questions about some tobaccos. On that conversation that you had here, he mentioned that Stockton is out of production. But that is only for the US, he told me, because I ordered some tins in case of, that is also in Europe the case. But that is not happened. You can order it in Europe. So if you have some sources, you can get it here.
Just no car dealers, David. I say that because since I joined the club, I've got a bone pipe, I've got 2 clay pipes, I've got $70 worth of stems, and $26 worth of tobacco. So no car dealers. I can't afford it.
Well, I'm not sure, but we might not want to invite Tom Eltang back again because I'm going to break the bank there, Stephen.
That would, you're right.
No, I'd love to have Tom back on. He's such a cool guy.
Say hi, Gabby.
Chris was really interesting too.
You know, it's funny. We had that very serendipitous thing. I didn't even know that Chris was in Los Gatos, and then he knew somebody that worked at where I worked, and we got in touch afterwards. And the person that he knows there, his mother-in-law, I've been working with for 23 years there, and it was so, you were talking about community, David, and it was almost like boom. It was so weird. I don't think Chris probably had the same feeling, but it was like, the guy's family. He's one of us. That's Pam's kid. You know, it was just, I'm very fortunate that the school, the administration, even at the district level, my colleagues, as far as schools go, high schools, very tight, very close-knit community. I've worked in some places that were just absolutely toxic. But yeah, Chris was great. Perry Jensen was great. John David Cole was great, even though I didn't sit in on that one. Wish I could have. Brian Levine's great. You know, and maybe if they they got a new release, if Russ has a new tobacco, or if Tom comes out with a new pipe, maybe we can, you know, have
Yeah,
him on to
now
talk
that you
about.
mention it, John David did say that he had some new blends that were going to be released soon, like next month. I'm going to reach out to him. He was very sweet. He, you know, I just did a review of one of his blends, and he messaged me to say it was that the morning after I posted that video, he already got a bunch of orders for Baker Street, and that just, it was so sweet to hear that. But yeah, let me reach out to him and see if he wants to come back and talk about his new stuff for fall.
And what else is, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And maybe another idea for Oliver, because Tom Elton, I mean, I really enjoyed his appearance here. And I really still like the idea of having a club pipe from Tom Elton. And I think there would be a lot of people would just really just join this. Just like a basic pipe or something as a club pipe, as another idea. Just maybe not just direct, but just keep in mind that just really like the idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So that brings me to a point. Maybe I can give a little update about our voting right now. If you
It's the Lovert.
Would
I'm in
love
Club
that.
Lovert.
So,
Just to open this discussion.
You guys have maybe see that I take off the Apple one because we have only, I don't know, 11 or 12 votes. So I take it off. And right now we are on 43 for the Lovert and 40 for the band Bulldog. So, and my idea is to close that post maybe on Wednesday. So all the people who voted for the Apple, maybe you have to switch to one of the other guys. So maybe this is a plan for the near future. And
but first, Oliver,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I really appreciate that you did that you organized this, and I think I can speak just for myself, but it's more or less having a club pipe, and shape is just, I mean, it's personal preferences, but I think you should just say when you close the study, when is the decision that's done, then well, I'm in Club Lovert, and I really love a Club, but I love it, but I just would take any pipe, right?
That's the same here. But
once we figure out the first round of this, it's not going to go away. I mean, Chris is now part of the, part of the community, and
he's part of the family.
Maybe for winter or for Christmas, right? We'll come up with a second round of, whichever was the second place winner. We'll reach out to Chris and see if we can do another one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, guys, I know what you're going to do. You're going to tell everybody, well, what I'd really love for Christmas is a new pipe. And maybe one of those club pipes would be really good,
Yeah, who wouldn't love it?
Right?
Hey, I would like one for Thanksgiving. I'd like one for Thanksgiving. I mean, every holiday would be okay.
Shep, we're going to have to figure out one for every major holiday.
Well,
Exactly.
if I'm going there, my birthday's coming up in December too.
Their birthday. And of course, there is the official Arbor Day pipe that we have to bring out there as well. So.
Hey, Oliver, I think it's a good plan because it's called getting a decision. You eventually have to get a decision from a lot of just very very good opinions, but you have to get a decision eventually. So I could live with either one, but I thank you for doing this. I really do.
I got a solution for that. You get the number 1 for Virginia's and the number 2 for English, and you can have both.
Could you do 2 pipes?
No.
I think we'll do one at a time.
Personally, because of the shapes.
Right.
Yeah, we go with one shape, but we want to build 2 different styles, like the filter option. So if you like to have the pipe with a 9mm filter, you can have it, or without the filter. So that's the only option we have. But we decided only to go with one shape this time.
I
Nice
knew
to
you
hear.
were gonna say that, Oliver, just because you have two new 9mm Germans on the chat, and you will be like happy
Hey,
about
that,
it.
that's a 9mm bones right there. So very good.
That's good. So we have right now 15 votes for 9 mil. So that's not bad. And let's see, 28 for non-filtered. So it's possible.
I've got the you got the adapter too, so you can go either way on a filter. That's the good thing about that.
Yes. So I use the 9 mil Vaughan adapter most of the time when I like to smoke a pipe without the filter, and it's perfect. So I have
Yes,
two
I
options.
do. I do. I like having the option. That's a great option to have. On some tobaccos, they do smoke better with a filter for me, but that's just my personal taste buds.
Yeah,
That's my experience too. I'm happy with both, not unfiltered and with filter. I have some unfiltered, and most of the time because I'm a German, and this is a Frauen, by the way, I smoke filter pipes. So I'm happy with that. I have voted for the Bern Bulldog now because the
you have
apple
to
is gone.
switch. You have to switch. That's not okay.
Go Team Bulldog. Go Bulldog.
Majority love it. I'm also happy with love it because I have one here.
Wow.
I think Oliver's got a thumb on the scale there.
I didn't have a Chris Morgan pipe anyway, and I had to get one. So that is all that is fine for me.
Like to
Another good thing is that's based on a classic shape, but there's a little bit of speciality. So it's not like you can go to Capo Joe's and buy the same thing. Though no, that's not happening.
Is there some facets on the bowl?
So say it again, please. Say it again.
There are some facets.
I would say the lowered is with this panel, so I have no clue what it is, but it looks different to a classic shape.
That looks to me in that way.
I don't have a panel myself, so that'll be a new addition to the shapes I have. That's, something different, right? They're all gonna smoke. Let's put it that way. We know that they're all gonna smoke if Chris sends them to us.
And David, you were talking about the connection to community, and Todd was talking about that as well. The pipe is that as well. So having an official pipe from the Virtual Pipe Club is just another way to strengthen our connection.
Totally.
And so I'm all for it.
Totally.
And I've made this comment before, before getting on here, the thought of me ever conversing one-on-one or in this setting with Jeremy Reeves or Per Jensen or, Chris Morgan, which just I put up a picture of that pipe of the one that Yano sent me, the one with all the bird's eye, and John David Cole commented on it. I've had Perry Jensen make a couple of comments on some of my posts. I'm like, and by the way, I'm smoking I came in late, something new. I've never done anything like this before. Usually when I smoke tobacco, a tobacco. I'm not blending anything. I'm not tinkering with it. I'm not doing anything. So I've got a McBaron bomb going on here. Dimitri, you'll appreciate this. I call it a Sloika device. So I've got a McBaron layer cake. The bottom third in my Asquith stack is my personal favorite, the Old Dark Fired, ODF. The middle part is Rustica. And the top third is what they used to call the strongest in their line, the Bold Kentucky. So I think I just got done with the Bold Kentucky and I'm just getting into the Rustica. And what I noticed is all the barbecue went away. So it's like the barbecue was removed. Now that I get into the Rustica, any hint of barbecued ribs is gone. Got a nice nicotine buzz going.
I was going to say, we want to keep an eye on Todd there in case he falls over.
That's what I thought too.
Actually, he's He's in a swivel chair that spins around, so he's okay.
I'm getting high before noon.
You know, a lot of times when I have just a little bit of tobacco left, like not enough for whole bowl, I do it same way. I feel like part of the pipe with one tobacco and rest with a different one. And it's actually interesting. When you smoke from the beginning, it doesn't taste like that tobacco normally would do, because smoke goes through the layers of different tobacco and absorbs some of its flavor. So it actually changes the flavor. It's a very interesting experience.
Might have to try that.
I've got my experiment that I did last couple weeks ago, designed to try to knock me off my chair. So it's a full mix together of the base is early morning pipe with rustica and some straight perique to put it all together. And who needs a beer when you got that? I mean, it's
Just don't drive.
no. I have to share something with you guys. So as some of you know, my big news of this past week was getting my colonoscopy. Sure everybody was excited about hearing that. But when I got home, I was recording a little bit just to put in my blog about it. And the doctor had come out to talk to me after I came out of recovery. And the only thing I remember him saying is, "You won't remember anything I'm saying." So I come out and I'm doing this, and my wife's in the background going, all these things that they said not to do. And I didn't remember any of them. It says, you know, do not drive in the car, do not operate heavy machinery, do not make any large purchases, and do not make any marriage proposals. So, like, these are all the things the doctor told me to avoid after the anesthetic.
I agree. I have the same experience this year, so I know what you're talking about.
It was so funny. Like, of all the things he said, the only thing I remembered was, "You won't remember."
David, for me yesterday, because I had mine.
You had yours yesterday?
Yeah.
It must be in the season or something.
It must be. Yeah. We can finally get back to doing that. I put it off for months just because fear, you know what I mean? But
one of the best naps ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And
yeah, you wake up so relaxed.
But I ate like a horse afterwards. I mean, like
Yep.
So hungry.
I was dreaming about what food I was going to eat later.
You know, I've had the same anesthesiologist for my last 5. I call him the supernatural anesthetist. He gives me a nice ride, man.
The last time I got a colonoscopy, which was way too long ago, way too many, which by the way was up in Los Gatos, is where I had my last one. I remember as I was going under that I should never be this close to that good a drug again. It was just something like, count backwards from 100. 100, oh yeah.
You know, the thing I like about this guy is before they give me the cocktail, he gives me a blast of Valium IV, and it's just great. They
By the
need
way,
to legalize that shit.
This on YouTube, do not try this at home.
Yeah, you know. Or when
under a doctor's care only.
When I went to, I had problems with AFib several years ago, and I had a couple of conversions before I had a deeper procedure. But when they were doing the conversions, I was getting that milk of amnesia. Oh, what do they call it? The Michael Jackson drug.
Yeah,
Propofol.
Unbelievable. And he told me the very first time he told me I was getting propofol, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna stay awake as long as I can. All right, there it goes there. And when I woke up, you know, the nurse was there, the doctor was just finishing up, and I'm like, how long was I out? How long was I asleep? I felt like I had slept a month. He said about 30 seconds. I was like, I was gone for a century. Very bizarre. That stuff was good, but yeah, the Valium was great. Well,
Hey Todd,
I'll take it.
Peter gets here. I had really bad AFib like 8-9 years ago, and I had to have that. Did you like, was it laser ablation?
Yeah,
ablation. Yeah.
My surgery for that took 13 hours.
Mine took 8.5.
It's like,
did they fix it?
Yeah, perfect. It's never been off since. So thank God. But it was,
you know what, man? I was telling
all like 10 seconds, or a million years. Being under it was. I closed my eyes and I opened them basically, but. I just thought I'd ask because it's a thing that people have. It happens.
I had an ablation, and I had an ablation, and the doctor kept telling me stop moving around. I said, "Well, stop poking around."
Ooh,
man, I was awake.
I was way out.
Oh yeah, I was way out.
Yeah,
they burn off too many of the neurons, and next thing you know, a month later, I get a pacemaker. I think the pacemaker doctor and the guy doing the ablation. I think they got a deal going on.
Oh no!
I swear.
Yeah, I hope not.
By the way, for those of you who are watching this sometime in the future, we do not always start talking about
colonoscopies, AFib, and dentures,
explosive
pens, wearable diapers.
Sorry, I would just like to mention, hello everyone, my name is Docky here, and this is the first time I'm ever doing a Zoom call. This is also the first time I'm ever a part of this club and listening to you. So it's most certainly a wonderful experience hearing for first time call about colonoscopies and about propofol, and certainly about listening to the American health system.
Our demographic has a lot of experience in that.
Is in your future, son.
Next time for our episode on microdosing LSD and cubensis. It's all the rage these days.
I suppose it's all ahead of me.
Subjects. Thank you all for giving us younger men something to look forward to.
Yeah. Let's go back to pipes. You're a bunch of drug dealers.
Agree.
I was just going to light up. I was just going to light up a joint.
Not till Tom's here. Not till Tom comes in. By the way, we have to be very careful when Tom's here because, given his hippie side, I found out recently that is highly illegal in Denmark, and so let's not get him in trouble.
Oh, okay.
All right, so David, what's your wintertime blend that you've been holding back on?
I'm not super English fan, so normally I don't care much about the winter versus summer times. Every 10 bowls I smoke, I perhaps smoke 6-7 Virginia Vapors, Orientals, and maybe a couple English. So I do it the same way all year long. It's what I'm in a mood. Like yesterday, I smoked 2 English, and this morning I was smoking this one, which I opened it the other weekend since we are almost in autumn.
That's timely.
Yeah, and I was smoking Sunday. Before coming here, we always have our pipe meetings in the club, and I was smoking Sunday picnic. So I don't really do either or. It's like whatever I'm in a mood for.
Will you put Sun Bear aside, or will you still smoke Sun Bear in the wintertime?
I already finished the first team quickly, and they're kind of young, so I want to let them rest for I don't know what I will do with that, but I would love to have one open every single week, but you never know when is the next time it's coming. I never care much about it. I always hear these people saying with beer, for example, yeah, Virginias are lagers and the English are more like a Guinness one. So you don't drink a Guinness perhaps in summer. I never care for that. I just smoke what I want when I want. When I'm in a mood for, I just get a
Yeah.
pipe. I'm in a mood for an English now. And I may smoke 3 English in a row, but never care for.
Yeah, the conversations, and I'm just trying to listen to what people have typically said about it, is that the colder weather just sort of gives you a hankering for a heavier tobacco taste, right? Is that, but I guess in a place where it doesn't get that much colder, maybe that doesn't really influence you.
I like the heavier ones after dinner.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't do. I don't smoke like a Virginia in the morning and English after dinner. Never did that. And probably the reason why it's because I like Balkans more than English because I'm more Oriental forward. But my problem is that most of the time, I tend to smoke over 2-3 hours the same bowl because I smoke slowly. So I don't have a problem with that. My problem with the Larakia is that it overpowers everything after 30 minutes. I cannot get bored and tired. And even though I tried the smaller bowls for Larakias or Balkans, I get tired. And that's why I do that proportion 7-3, 70%, 30%.
By the way, over there on YouTube, Jack the Piper's over there, and he says he agrees with you. I drink what I want, smoke what comes to mind, no matter what the season is. So
that's it. That's a good one.
The only thing I really do, it's like, and of course I didn't do it at first, my first couple of years, but then once I came here, I learned that this bowl is only for Virginias, for instance. I don't tend to mix bowls. I have maybe 70% of my pipes are for Virginias, vapors, and the other 30% are for English. Because like sometimes when you, let's say you change a bowl and smoke an English today on this one, and 2 days later you smoke a Virginia, at first it still tastes like Larakia. And I don't want that to happen. I don't know if other people do the same.
I tend to go for the lighter Englishes, so that's not as big a problem for me. But and there's a lot of good light Englishes out there, and I tend to smoke them throughout the summer as well. But I definitely agree, David. I end up going for the heavier Englishes and some other heavier tobaccos as a cold. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things that feels right, but I don't know that I don't know what the science behind that is.
like not wanting iced tea in the wintertime. It's not that I stopped liking iced tea, just doesn't feel like it's iced tea weather, you know.
I drink it all year round.
So, but here's one thing that does happen is that the different tobacco companies will either release or do specials or something like that on, you know, seasonal tobaccos. So I'm curious in this way, if you ever discovered a tobacco blend in a season, like, you know, obviously we got Christmas coming up, and there's all kinds of Christmas blends going to be coming up out during that season.
Yeah, corn cob pipe, it's pretty good. It's not a regular, but it's different. I just got some of that last year. It's pretty good. I might get some more of that.
When I first started out, and this is only 7 years ago, again, I think with a lot of people, especially like myself, because I didn't know anybody, I didn't have a mentor. I started out with aromatics, and I kind of I moved away from those because of the heat. That they just, of course, I didn't. My cadence was off. I was smoking the pipe too hard, and then you throw an aromatic in there, and then you got some serious tongue bite. So I moved away from those, and I would try the Christmas blends, but they tended to be, you know, heavy with the sugars and the aromatics too. Sutliff came out with one a couple of years ago, 2018, the Kringle Flake. Oh my God, that Virginia, unbelievable. Non-aromatic, obviously, but that was fantastic.
kind of why I like Bagpiper's Dream. It's kind of a Virginia forward aromatic, so it's you can still taste the tobaccos in it, even though that cognac does come through.
Like my problem was that of course I grew up with aromatics because we didn't have much in Spain. It was more about Capstan perhaps and Bruno and three more. And three Nans and three more. But we used to have Balkan Sobrani all the time. And I remember after I finished a pouch of that, and it probably took me about a month to finish a pouch, I didn't want to smoke an English for like another month. I got tired of that, you know? And with the time, you kind of smoke so many blends and you ended up having your favorite 30, 40, 50 ones. I can smoke, of course, some bird, even if it's 5 degrees. But the English, London Mixer, for instance, I can smoke it every day. So I always have my favorite English, my favorite Virginia's Vapors, like a daily ones. And I don't know if that happens to you guys as well.
Yes, that's happened to me. I have normally a Sunday tobacco. It's from HU Tobacco, Louisiana Broken, if you know that. I know it's hard to get in the US.
I actually am smoking HU now.
Yeah, I love HU tobaccos.
I love it.
Yeah, in my opinion, now HU has best Virginias on the market anywhere in the world.
Now
I am doing the
green and gold. That is a light aromatic with a bergamot aroma as a or green tea. That is a nice blend for the summer. I don't think I will smoke that in the winter time, but in the summer, I normally tend to smoke some Virginias as all the golden sliced and more heavier Virginia blends and vapors in the autumn and the winter. But that is, for me, a good blend for a hot day.
Well, what's that called?
Also, HU Tobacco.
Yeah, for winter you can switch to Director's Cut. Director's Cut is amazing English from HU.
Oh, I like Director's Cut, and even through Dimitri, I learned. I mean, I'm German. I can easily access to these tobaccos. Through Dimitri, I learned about these Virginias and then bought them. I just thought of having Hans Wiedemann as a guest speaker. We just may contact them. I mean, he's doing a great job and creating these tobaccos.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Hans Wiedemann is out because he don't like to join our club. So I invited him a couple times. So I don't know. Maybe he's not interested.
Okay.
Jürgen, this is the HU English breakfast, which is similar to Director's Cut. Not quite the Nick hit, but I do like it.
Jürgen, I don't know if you can see the chat there. Terry was asking.
I have seen it. I write it down.
Okay. Yeah, you could type it in there. Bergamot.
If you guys want HUs in the States, they are hard to get, of course, and they're expensive with the shipping. So I recommend you guys, if you have a club or a couple of guys, maybe to get 2-3 per person and maybe order like 20 at one time and split the cost of shipping. That's what we did here. I only tried 3 or 4 and I don't remember much about it, but
that's a good idea.
Recommendation for you guys.
Good idea. I have a friend that found a vendor that actually can get it. So I always tag onto his order and split the shipping costs with him.
Shep, maybe we should hook up with you and see if that's a possibility for us to do.
I would be glad to find out who he's using.
Okay, super. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and then that's a great idea. We can make an order. I'll make an order, and then just, you know, if you want to buy it from me or whatever, we'll just split the shipping.
It's probably better, David, if like whoever wants, let's say 20 teams, 25, ship it to one place in the States, and then going to one house, and then that person split it, and we pay for that cost. It's way cheaper if you do it internally.
Yeah.
Yes. I have posted a link to the an official shop for international orders. It's the pfeifendepot.de. It's in Hamburg. Hans Fleischmann is the owner of the shop, and he is the official dealer for international orders of HU tobacco. So
yeah, I
you
ordered from them before, and service is excellent. Takes a while to get it shipped to the United States, but I got my order eventually, and I really enjoy those tobaccos.
Yes.
We'll post that on the Pipe Club page in Facebook, and then and this is by the way, let me just make a real quick plug over there on the YouTube group. If you are on Facebook and you haven't yet joined the Virtual Pipe Club group, it doesn't cost you anything, and you can come over and this is the kind of thing we do. We'll post the opportunity to get the club pipe, or if we do a club order of tobaccos or whatever. I mean, that's really the reason for doing membership on the page there, just so that we can be special, do special things for each other. But yeah, Oliver, let's you and I collaborate on putting that page up there, and maybe collecting an order if this is something everybody wants to do.
Yep.
I love it.
I hear one thing, changing the topic a little bit. On the Pipe Club this morning, one of the members said that the FDA changed the regulation and kind of avoid everything, and now there is no problem of buying tobaccos. I don't know if you ever heard anything about it recently.
So the FDA I did a little post on this. The main so there's things that are federal and there's things that are statewide. So the two big changes, or the two big current events in those deeming regulations is one about the warning labels on all tobaccos. So the FDA actually, or the District Court of New York, voided the regulation the FDA had on warning labels on premium tobaccos, pipe tobaccos, and cigars. So they didn't say, yeah, you have to do it better, or we're going to think about this. They just said, you guys did it incorrectly. So we're just going to void the entire law. And if you want warning labels on pipe tobacco and cigars, you're going to have to start over again. So that's the main thing. The other one is on flavored tobacco. And this is state by state. So there's like 10 states that have a regulation against flavored tobaccos. California happens to be one. Then there's Massachusetts, and a couple of others in that area up there. And so you really just basically have to look at your state and see what that's up with that. But the changes in the new tobaccos having to, re-register and whatever, that's still in effect. So we're still not going to get any new.
I can't remember I found it ironic that a state so deeply blue like California would have given an exemption to pipe tobaccos. And I don't remember exactly which states, but there were tobacco states and they're red states, and they have not granted an exemption for pipe tobaccos on that. It's kind of counterintuitive. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's ironic.
Yeah, those FDA regulations, thing is, most of those people have no idea exactly what they're doing. Just a couple of days ago, I was talking to Terrence Riley, and we were talking about that, among other things. A good example, in state of Louisiana, in order to be tobacconist, you must blend pipe tobaccos. And when FDA regulations originally came, tobacconists were not allowed to blend tobaccos anymore. Well, they revoked it. So now if you work in like tobacco brick and mortar store, you can blend tobaccos. But for some time, like people in Louisiana had no choice. Either you cannot be a tobacconist if you want to work in a tobacco shop. Like you cannot be, if you are a tobacconist, you're not allowed to be tobacconist at the same time.
No, this is one man's opinion. I am not a.
I'm not a big conspiracy.
We're gonna have competing conspiracy theories. Well, this is interesting. No, no, I was saying this is just my opinion. I'm personally not opposed to investigating safety regulations, because I think that I don't want a bunch of kids, and Todd, you don't want a bunch of your high school kids vaping and getting into a habit that's going to cause them harm. You know, what I think it seems to be missing is an informed panel for making these kinds of decisions. So,
that's always a problem with legislation. That's in Germany the same thing. You don't imagine what happened, what's going on in their heads. It's sometimes really insane. I have some days ago read about a novelization about photovoltaic called EEG, and they forbid all. They had subventioned 20 years to build photovoltaic on your roof, and now they forbid you to use it afterwards. The subvention is running out. So it's better to put them all down and build a new one, and it's completely insane. That is a topic that,
yeah,
I don't understand it. And in tobacco, it's also as worse as in the US. Not as far as the FDA regulations, putting new blends on, but the aromatic thing is also a thing, as Per also said. I think it will come in the next years that we lost aromatics. So we had to put our aromas for ourselves on the tobacco. And McBaron has something like that for cigarette blends. I can imagine that will come for the pipe smokers too.
Well, I think what we were all horrified about was, you know, and I'm not an aromatic hater. I just moved away from aromatics, but I have some aromatics in my rotation. Frogmorton Cellar. It doesn't taste like an aromatic, even though it is an aromatic. Pembroke, I guess, is an aromatic. That's Margate with some stuff on it. And we all get what they were trying to do, right? They were trying to, you know, like David said, stop the kids from vaping this stuff. But you know, I'm thinking, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I think Arnold Schwarzenegger had something to do with it. I think he ran into I think he pulled some strings or something. But you know, there are some aromatics like Molto Dolce. I mean, that's illegal.
Well, you remember how they outlawed tobacco in Beverly Hills, and yet
they have
Arnold was able to get his Beverly Hills. You can't buy. There's no tobacco shops anymore, but Arnold has his own cigar store that's exempt. You know what I mean? Because he lives in Beverly Hills, he wants a cigar. So they got exemptions for it, which to me it's like, okay, if you're gonna have the law, have the law. You know what I mean? And then when you find out how dumb it may be, you know, then do something about the law. Don't just start making exemptions for everybody or all these special interests, you know, kind of thing, for people that have influence. You know what I mean? Which of course is what happens all the time. So as we know,
and he's a pipe smoker too.
We are not, you know, even a small group, you know, 1,000 guys here, we are essentially a special interest group, and there is now, with the internet and with the way that people communicate, we can have a pretty strong voice if you understand what the idea of a special interest is. Not about the interest of the group. It's about understanding the interest of the legislators. What is the special interest of the people who are making the regulations? Some of them are interested in tax base. Some of them are interested in public relations. Some of them are interested in what their personal ability to buy the product is, right? And so, you know, if it's something that you feel that strongly about, then stand up and use your voice. But somebody needs to figure out, okay, who are we supposed to talk to? And I think this is what happens. And I've been watching the, you know, the emotional aspect of what this is like in the pipe smoking community. Everybody's really like passionate about, don't take our pipe tobaccos away, and don't take away my aromatics or flavors or anything like, don't take away my online purchases or whatever. It's like, okay, if you're that passionate about it, you need to talk to the right people, because simply saying, I'm upset, nobody gives a shit.
I think it's more like, doesn't matter what party you are. If the senator of that state doesn't like smoking, it's banned. If the other ones like Schwarzenegger, for instance, years ago, smokes, not a problem. Because everybody should be, well, we can collect money. We can collect taxes. It's a good thing. Who cares about, like, if I was a senator of whatever state, who cares if somebody dies of me? It's not my problem. They're paying their own medical like benefits. So it's more money for us through the hospitals or healthcare programs, right? I think it's more a personal thing.
You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
You're having this conversation, and within Santa Clara, within 5 miles of my house, there are at least 10 marijuana, what do you call them? Stores, shops. They sell weed. High-end, kick-ass airfield supply right down the street from here, right next to San Jose Airport. And you get the finest indica, the finest sativa, the finest hybrids, totally legal. It's taxed, it's regulated. And, you know, for those of us of a certain age, something like that would have been absolutely inconceivable even 20 years ago. And here we are. And now we're kind of on the reverse end of that with tobacco. It was out there, it was legal, and now they want to regulate it, they want to rein it in. You know, but all tobaccos are not the same. And by the way, this McBaron bomb, see, this shit should be regulated. Prescription only, man, because I'm having an out-of-body experience as we speak right now.
That's some good shit.
I mean, I haven't felt like this since those peyote buttons back in the 70s.
By the way, when you smoke something very strong with a high nicotine content, which you know might hit you hard, it's good to have like piece of chocolate ready. Take piece of chocolate. It increases your blood sugar and takes some effect of that nicotine away.
Something with a lot of sugar in it. Yes, that's true.
Thank you for that, Dimitri. I'll have to try that the next time I have a problem. I don't smoke often enough until it cools off, so I often have the buzz.
So we tell Todd the truth. Because of your blend, Todd, you knock off yourself for like over 30 seconds and then you're back.
So, Todd, don't share your blend. You could get us more regulations.
Right.
Next time I do it, I'm gonna do the Bold Kentucky, then the ODF, and the bottom part will be the Irish Flake.
I have smoked the University Flake once, and that was too hard for me because of the Kentucky. That is not my blend.
Well, what's interesting is in the review I just did, I had some aha moments about tobacco, that I have a higher tolerance for nicotine than perhaps is the norm, but I have a lower sophistication of taste. So you know, I have to sort of overdo it on both ends so I can get the good taste, but also it's like, so this big bomb here is it's just right for me.
Very good.
By the way, in case the FDA is watching, these are all bubble pipes, guys. They're not really tobacco.
If they shut down this club next week, you know, it's because of all your drug dealing.
First, there's a colonoscopy, then there's Valium. Yeah.
Nicotine is a drug. Nicotine is a drug.
Pretty much anything is a drug. Well, nicotine is addictive, that's for sure. At the same time, your body cannot function properly without nicotine. Nicotine is a provitamin.
Is right.
I take my vitamins every day.
Yeah,
Vitamin N.
B6. Yeah, vitamin B6, niacin, that's nicotinamide. So part of nicotine which gets into your body from smoking is converted inside your body into vitamin B6.
So a lot of the pro bodybuilders or some of the other elite athletes, that is a part of the supplementation that they do are supplements that contain nicotine in it because it is a metabolite.
Yeah, actually, I know a bunch of professional athletes, football players, baseball players, basketball players, and all of them are cigar smokers.
Well, they can't do steroids anymore. Gotta have something.
Just to be clear, in order for that to really work, you can't just smoke and get bigger muscles. You have to.
I tried.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
No matter what you eat, what kind of supplements you get, if you don't work out, if you don't exercise, you'll never build muscle.
Well, I don't know. I keep building the muscle around my belly.
For the last 6 months, I've got what's now known as the COVID 25 here.
That's what I'm blaming it on.
Very super. Hey, Oliver, who we've been ignoring so much today. What are some of the other things that we've got planned for future meetings or some, we had an idea about music and entertainment. Want to talk a little bit about that to inspire some guys?
There's not so much to talk about it. So it's just an idea. So some of the new members are musicians. So, and I was thinking maybe that's a good idea to have a musician, a beverage, a good smoke, have a good time. And so, yeah, but we have to talk with this guy. So we tried it hard, but the response is not so good right now. So we are on it.
Heard from a couple of the fellas that are new members that you recommended, and they love the idea of coming on, playing guitar and singing a little bit or whatever. They just couldn't make it today, because honestly, it was my fault for getting sort of a late start. I was a little distracted this week, just as you might imagine. I think so. Any of you guys play an instrument?
Yes, I'm a professional musician. I have 2 music schools and I'm a drummer. So I can do that if you want.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else?
I'm an unprofessional musician, so I won't be playing on Zoom, but I'm a wannabe. I'm a wannabe.
Me too.
So.
Me too. I'm a wannabe drummer.
Harmonica player.
It's never too late to start.
Right.
You know, and we shouldn't limit ourselves, you know. I mean, we should really think outside the box. I mean, I'd love to get Snoop Dogg on here, you know. Maybe Donald Trump.
I've met his.
That would be great.
I'm sure we
talk to Donald Trump, talk to the president about tobacco legislation. There you go.
I will leave that conversation to someone else. But
I actually saw Snoop Dogg at the Sturgis rally last year, not this year, last year. And you'd have to really have a how would I call it, a beeper for most of his lyrics. So you had him on.
Well, I think think our reach would grow a bit.
It cracked me up. Snoop just posted. He was in his car. I'm assuming somewhere in LA, and he was cranking "Let It Go" from Frozen 2. He was singing along to it. I mean, you know, come on, man. He's going, I love this shit, man. Just let it go. Let it go. And he was blasting it.
This is actually something we haven't considered, but I hadn't considered before. It's like reaching out to guest speakers outside of the pipe genre. But musicians, that could be something pretty sweet there. So there's a big rock scene in Finland. Jyrki, are you going to help us out with?
I don't know anyone.
Yeah, but how big is Finland? There's surely 7 degrees of separation you could find.
Yeah, a large country with few people, so.
We could give that a shot. Also, a topic that has come up that perhaps I'd love to see what you guys think about it is people in the beverage industry. So we talk about drinking different premium blends of scotch and whiskey.
Absinthe.
What do you think? Could we see if we could get some?
That would be great.
That would be a great
That'd be
idea.
a good one.
I enjoy a Scotch whiskey from time to time.
This is the face I make when my hamster wheel is spinning. So.
First drugs, now alcohol. Definitely, we're gonna be set down next week.
I think we should change this to the virtual vice club. Is basically what we're moving into that territory. No,
So we put like nicknames for every topic.
code names. Yes.
Yeah.
My pipe club meets in a gun club, and the guys they're I'm not into guns, but a lot of the guys are. So they're into pipes, scotch, whiskey, and firearms. So alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Here we go.
Where's that club at? I'd like to join it.
Hey, well, I am from Texas, so you're talking my language there.
I'm going to go to a club.
Please drink responsibly while operating these firearms.
Scotch and then play with guns. I would want to know where that club is meeting so I could be on the other side of the country. That's
No. You go.
Smoke
your pipe, some
bulletproof
cigars,
vest.
you shoot your guns, and then when you're done, you put away the guns and you get out the scotch or whatever your preferred beverage is.
as long as we could make sure that we follow that protocol.
The other way around.
What do you think about
sorry.
these people who put like a picture of a tobacco, a pipe, and then a gun on Facebook?
That would get us banned.
I have a thought about that, but I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks first.
Pipe smokers with guns, that scares the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah, right.
The pipe smokers militia.
Yeah. Don't
We're
over the
we're
top.
not a bad sort.
Don't tread on my tobacco.
So David, my thought on that was completely outside of the theme of tobacco or guns, but from the point of view of photography. So as I look at some of those posts, and I'm looking at it from a composition kind of point of view. So you put together a composition that is in some way, artistic. Now, I may not like guns and want to look at a bunch of pictures of guns, but I can't judge somebody else for their artistic preferences. You know what I mean? So I've looked at that sometimes and I'm like, okay, but the picture was good. you know, the lighting was good. The composition was a good photography.
But it's more, to me, it's more like this is not the place for than anything else.
So do you think that the pipe group, let's say on Facebook, would you favor a group rule that guns are not appropriate for this group?
No.
I would hope that good judgment would come in there, but that's that's too big an assumption. But I would.
Well,
there is a lot of good judgment going on right now and everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
I'll
I'm
talk
not
about
into guns, but it doesn't bother me.
I'll talk about the elephant in the room. I've got several handguns in back of me. Those are all cap and ball black powder firearms. They are they're replicas. Colt and Remington don't make those anymore. Those are from Uberti and Pieta in Italy. I've only fired one of them. The rest of them, they're just historical pieces. I ordered them online. No background check, no waiting period, and they were delivered to my doorstep by the U.S. Post Office. A lot like pipes. They're not, you know, you have to know how to load the powder. You know how to, you have to know how to seat the wad, seat the ball. And you know, it's just something that takes time, like preparing a pipe. You know, it takes me a half hour to load, you know, my 1847 Walker. 20 minutes if I was, you know, really in a hurry, but I'm never in a hurry. It's like being in a hurry with a pipe. But yeah, I don't own any AR-15s or 50 caliber semi-automatic rifles or anything like that.
So for those of you guys who are new to this group and those watching over there on Facebook or on YouTube or in the future, we've tried to stay away from heavy rules in this group. I mean, I'm not personally a rule guy. I think the only real like strong rule we had was don't be a dick.
Good rule.
The only problem
That is
with
a
the
great
black
rule.
powder guns is it takes so long to clean them.
Yeah, but that's part of the ritual. I have a 50 caliber muzzle loader, which is not as big as it sounds. It's about the same power as a 30-30 rifle, and it's the ritual, the process of loading it. The in a 20-minute range session, the range I go to, they shut the range down every 20 minutes for target shooting, for target putting up and everything. I'll get 10 rounds down range, but it's the process.
You know, I don't hunt game anymore. I used to, and I used to have a Winchester 270 30-06 bolt action, held 5 rounds, and I was like, you know what? If I took up hunting today, I would be hunting with a single shot muzzleloader.
Yep.
One shot, man. I mean, it's supposed to be a sport, right? Presumably, it's sporting for the animal too.
Yeah. If you need the meat, go to the grocery store. If you want to enjoy the sport, go with a flintlock.
And Terry, you know what? I think there's only one place I know of in California where you can get black powder now, and it's down in Bakersfield. Since the Boston Marathon bombing, where those guys used black powder in those pressure cooker bombs, like we passed legislation in California where if you have a pound or 5 pounds of black powder, you have to have so much square footage space to store it. You know, I'm thinking of the fertilizer in that warehouse in Beirut. So if you wanted to keep 50 pounds of black powder, you'd have to have a warehouse of 20,000 square feet. So you can't even, and the substitutes that they're using now are so much cleaner. They're so much less corrosive than the black powder. I love the smoke and I love the smell of the black powder, but you're right, Terry, it was a pain in the ass to clean. It's a lot easier now with these new powders.
Yeah, I've used both.
Pass along a comment over there on YouTube from Phil, our buddy, Scotland. Phil, it's the heart of lawn bowling season up there. So Phil says he's sorry he couldn't make the meeting today, but he wanted me to pass on a big thank you to Yerke for the Dunhill's Baby Bottom. What a fabulous blend. Had it on my my last day of lawn bowls on Sunday. Fantastic. So Yerke, Phil's pass along a big thank you to you.
And I'm guessing Phil has his falcon in his mouth right now.
I bet you he does. I bet you he does.
He's channeling.
I'm going to call attention to the fact that we're heading into that last 15 minutes or so of our regular meeting space. Anybody intending on hanging out a little bit afterwards? You know, I'm just going to leave the club open. And for those of you guys over there on YouTube who came in late and would like to join in, totally welcome to do that. I'm going to rejoin my family here in about 15 minutes or so.
David, I got a comment. It was so funny at the last meeting with Chris. You know, the meeting ended and I punched out, I think just before you left, because I had to help my wife inside and, you know, I check on the baby and I ran back out here to get the laptop about 15 minutes later and the meeting's still going on. And Aaron Compsia was talking with Chris, and you know the conversation. How do you wind up in Japan? And I started out as a monk in Thailand, and then wound up in Japan, and started growing rice, and whoa, and I said, now Aaron, you're gonna whip out your katana, right? And he goes, oh yeah, here, let me. I'm like, whoa, what? And he goes, he goes and whips out these frickin' real, genuine samurai swords. He had the katana. He had what's the middle one? What's it called? He didn't have the tanto, but he had the long one and the medium-sized one. So the long one, it came with a license. I mean, it's licensed and serial numbered. The middle one was licensed and serial numbered, but he's not allowed to take it out of Japan. And this fascinated Chris because Chris is a blacksmith too. And we were looking at the blades, and they started talking metallurgy and how they were put together. Anyway, it was a fascinating after hour.
Like an hour and a half, wasn't it?
It was. I think I was on there for 45 minutes, so at least an hour, because I came into it 50 minutes into the after meeting. Bud, you were there, right?
Yep.
That was crazy, man. I'll take credit for the moniker. Aaron Compsey is, the mad monk with a katana.
Plus his tobacco stuff too, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And the fact that he would even consider being a guerrilla tobacco grower in Japan, because that's highly illegal. Man, I think I'm gonna start bootlegging my own Japanese tobacco.
Really hypothetical situations here. Yes, everybody. So Grandpa Mike, I see you made it in.
Yes, hello.
Good to see you. I just realized because Mike was over there on YouTube and said, "What's the link?" So I'm glad you found it and got your way in there. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes. Now I do. I wasn't hearing you before.
Okay, I'm not sure how to get the audio out.
Are you on a phone?
Yes, I'm on my iPhone.
So one of the things you can do is you can finger swipe across the screen and you'll see different views of the group.
Yes.
Right, so that's just a little tip there. So you'll see some of the different guys there. Yeah. It's always nice to meet somebody new who's joining in with us.
Yeah, you should hear me.
I
hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Where are you from, Grandpa Mike?
I'm from Sweden, and I'm sitting out in my tent, the pavilion here, and it's about 6 degrees centigrade Celsius. That's what you have in your refrigerators. So the autumn is here. I live about 100 kilometers from Stockholm, and it's the same latitude as Anchorage in Alaska. So the autumn is here.
Autumn is definitely there.
Too cold for my blood.
Well, Grandpa Mike, just to calm your nerves, the planet is heating up, so you can expect some warmer weather.
Yeah, I can hope so. It's terrible cold, but it's the weather here. In the summertime, we can have over 30 degrees, like Italy, Greece, and in the winter we can have minus 30. So it's a tough place to live. And about tobacco, the tax in Sweden on pipe tobacco is per gram $2 per gram. So it's $200 for 1 kilogram of tobacco in tax.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
That's insane.
Yes, and the government said yesterday that they are going to raise the tax. They think it's too low.
How nice of them.
Same here.
And and the VAT is 25%. So if I'm looking for tobacco or a pipe in US, to get it here to Sweden, say the pipe is $50, then I have to pay around $25 for the shipment, and 50 plus 25 is 75. Then the customs will add the Swedish VAT 25%, and then the customs also adds 10% for import. And if it's tobacco, then we have $2 per gram. So it's very expensive to buy from the US.
You know, the whole, and we all get it. Look, the sin tax, it's got nothing to do with grammar. The sin tax is a high tax on socially undesirable products. So
yes,
we have a high tax on alcohol because we, you know, if you go to a 49er game down here at Levi Stadium, a single glass plastic cup of Bud Light will cost you $18. You know, well, you don't want
Bud Light is that.
you don't want 60,000 people on national TV getting smashed and fighting in the stands, and you don't want 60,000 people driving away from the stadium drunk, right? So if you want to get a buzz on Bud Light, you're going to have to spend $100 on some belch accelerant. So we all get that.
Or you just go to UK and go to a soccer game if that's what you want.
That's right.
You know, the question is, you know, I can't pipe smoking and pipe tobacco. How is that socially undesirable? I mean, I can't smoke a pipe in my classroom the way Mr. Mankemeyer, the metal shop teacher, did when I was in 7th grade. The guy was smoking a pipe, showing us kids how to weld in the shop. You know, you could do that then. You can't do that now. You know, it's, I mean, that's understandable, but, you know, cigarettes and vaping, that I would consider to be socially undesirable.
Apply a sin tax to socially unacceptable behavior, or is it because we're fairly confident that it's hard to break people of those habits, and so we have a steady source of tax revenue?
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, and like to the marijuana thing, right? Now, I'll go ahead and share this. I can because it's legal. I can go down and legally purchase marijuana from these shops, totally legally. It's not on the black market, it's on the open market, but I'm paying 20 to 24% tax. Now, the reason the underground, the black market marijuana market is still thriving is because if I knew somebody that was growing the weed and selling it under the table, you you know, I'd save a lot of money. So the idea was to put the black market out of business, but the taxes are so high, the black market is still thriving. So they're still working out the kinks.
Yes, that's a typical Sweden. We have taxes on everything. Alcohol you cannot buy in the local grocery store. We had a special chain for selling alcohol by the state, and it's open Monday to Saturday. Sundays is closed, and the taxes are horrible. And oh, what's that American whiskey that everybody drinks?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. That's around $35, $40 for that bottle, and it's not 1 liter. It's only 700 centiliters.
I think they should tax rap music.
Yeah. Tobacco.
Any agreement on that? That's socially undesirable. To me, anyway.
You're talking my jam there.
Well, my friends, I have to get out of here. I have some chores I've got to get to. It has been wonderful. I'm sorry I've missed the last few, but life got in the way.
Yeah.
See you, Terry.
All right, Terry.
Terry.
Have a good one.
Always good to see you.
Hey, Grandpa Mike, what's the deal on snus in Sweden? Because
snus.
I hear everybody does snus, right? So
yeah,
that's a tobacco product.
Me too.
Same regulation as the.
This is
Is
what
it
I
expensive?
use. Yeah, it's around. Let me see. $3 for the cheap ones. The better brands are around $5 to $6. Pipe tobacco, a pouch of 50 or 40 grams is over $20. $20 for a ordinary pouch of tobacco. So I order my most tobaccos from Germany.
Yes.
It's under the half price if the customs not take my packages.
To get this group completely illegal, we can manage to smuggle something to you, to Sweden.
Yeah,
we need to have Oliver put together a new Silk Road for the Pipe Club.
That's right.
That's right.
A clearinghouse for the sophisticated pipe smoker and all of their accoutrements.
Well, tobacco has been one of the mainstays of smuggling for centuries. So listen, are any of you guys interested in sticking around for the quote unquote after hours? I'm just looking for somebody who may want to hang out and keep the room open.
I'll have to peel off, but it's been a great meeting again, David and Chris and Oliver. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll tell you
Good to
what.
see you, Shep.
Let me once again remind everybody, next week, Brian Levine's going to be here talking about Disney pipes and the collecting of Disney Tobacciana. That's going to be pretty cool. And we're working on other speakers from all of your suggestions. Thank you so much for that. Love you guys, man.
Continue, David.
Welcome to all the new people. I really hope to see you again, Jürgen and Bernd. I think Bernd peeled off.
I'm looking forward to the Disney show next week with Brian. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
If I can manage, I will be back.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. I'll see you
All
next
right, man.
All right.
Adios.
Everybody stay safe.
Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. See you next
Take
week.
care. See you next week.
Bye.